President Trump calling out pollsters over another failed attempt to correctly call the presidential election. The president signaling Fox News, among others, writing this, quote, "They were so inaccurate with their polls on me that it really is tampering with an election. They were so far off in their polling and in their attempt to suppress that they should be called out for election interference." Well, Ted Harvey is the chairman of the committee to defend the president, a Republican strategist and former Colorado state senator. He's joining us live. Rick Gates is a former Trump campaign aide and author of Wicked Game. Good to see both of you guys. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. I'm going to run through these polls. We're going to get your reaction. Ted, I'm going to start with you when I get done here. But these are the ones from Fox News. So I'll show you the first one. This is how they predicted that Biden would win the presidential race. They said by 10 points. There it is. That's from Fox News. 1 week later, we still don't know who won. States are still tallying votes. Hasn't been certified yet. A lot of the legal process is still going to happen as well. Fox News said Biden would win by 6 points in Pennsylvania. And here's where the race, that's where the race is there in Pennsylvania, rather. They said that he would win by 7 points there. Pennsylvania today, yeah, it's a 1 point difference, actually a little bit less than that. So it's way off, to say the least, here as we ran through a few of those here. Ted Harvey, does the president have a point when he talks about polls being used as a tool for voter suppression?
Well, I think he could very well make the argument. I think the argument that's probably more accurate is they're just incompetent. This is not the first time this has happened. In the last election cycle, Fox News had Trump losing by 9% 2 weeks before the election. So either they are truly trying to suppress the vote, or their pollsters are incompetent, and Fox needs to fire them and get somebody else, because it's not just Fox, it's the Washington Post, New York Times. Their polls came out in I want to say in Michigan. It showed that the president was down by 17 points. I mean, that's just ridiculous. All of these states are within the margin of error, and the president, in my opinion, is probably going to win the election when all of the votes are counted. We're going to win Arizona, we're going to win Georgia, we're going to win North Carolina, and I believe once the criminal fraudulent votes are taken out in Pennsylvania, we're going to win Pennsylvania as well. So I think the pollsters have a lot to explain between now and January 20th.
Yeah, Rick, by the way, I'm looking at it now. Arizona, the margin is slimmed again between Biden and Trump to 14,000 votes. So it does continue to get smaller and smaller. Rick Gates, you know, this isn't really just Fox. It really is all the networks to some extent. So the big question, a lot of viewers ask, why can't they just report what's actually happening on the ground? Is it just human error? Is there just too much trust with the pollsters? Or is this all deliberate to help a candidate that they more or less would want to see in office? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, look, I believe this is an effort to depress the vote, suppress the vote in a number of ways. And when you look at all the networks combined, we have something called the National Election Pool, which are supposed to report the results, you know, based on the vote count. And you take Fox as an example. They declared Arizona at 11:32 p.m. That was just about 30 minutes after the polls closed on Tuesday, with only 72% of the vote count in, and they're not even close to finishing their count as of today. So it's very unfortunate. And Sean, what it does, it drives a narrative to voters that when you start even before the election, you talk about, you know, how Joe Biden is ahead 10 points nationally or 17 points nationally. And then you even target states like Texas and Iowa, where they were grossly wrong. It sets the idea in people's minds psychologically that, oh, maybe Biden is going to win. Maybe I don't have to go out and vote. And that's not right. We shouldn't have that in this country in a free and fair election.
You know, it doesn't stop at the polls. They, as everyone has seen, they continue today to even talk about president-elect, to use this term for Biden when the results haven't been certified by the states, and that's how it works. And there are allegations of voter fraud, election fraud. We're seeing them turn from saying no evidence to no widespread evidence, Ted Harvey. This seems to be the scapegoat here. You put up no widespread evidence. And I think about this as a reporter. If someone called me and said, hey, I'm having issues with this car dealership in my town, I'm not going to say, no, there's no widespread evidence. I'm not going to look into these claims. As a reporter, you have to look into these claims, Ted.
Well, certainly you do, especially in Pennsylvania, where they have years and years of history of fraudulent votes being taken place. They've had people go to jail there over the last 4 years for voter fraud. I think it's irresponsible for the media to be calling any of these states at this point. It was certainly irresponsible and arrogant of Fox News to be calling Arizona on election night. It's frustrating, I think, to the American people that you have the media calling these states. But more importantly, I think it's frustrating to the American people that the election divisions can't count their votes by now. I mean, we're almost a week after the election. And Fox or Florida had their entire election counted by 11 o'clock the night of the election. Why is it that these states are so incompetent that they're not able to get their votes counted and tell the American people who won? Yeah. This is frustrating for everybody. And in such a divided country, it's not helping us come back together as the United States of America.
By the way, Alaska is still counting. I think they're at some 50-60%. So you're exactly right. This still is ongoing. And they have less people, too. There's so many questions involved in this. And all we need to do is continue to ask them and get an answer. Ted Harvey, Rick Gates, we're out of time. But thank you so much. It's good to see both of you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.